You've been lied to about the Mongols. They weren't just savage horsemen storming out of the steppe. Nope, the real secret? They learned the art of ruling from a civilization they once tried to conquer, ancient China. And what China gave them changed the course of history. We always hear about how the Mongols tore through empires like wildfire, but what nobody talks about is what they took from those empires, especially China. Not just gold or cities, but secrets, deep ancient knowledge. China, with its 5,000 years of dynasties, philosophies, and inventions, gave the Mongols something they never had before, a blueprint for empire. And once the Mongols got their hands on those secrets, they didn't just become warriors, they became rulers of the biggest land empire the world has ever seen. Here's the problem: when we picture Mongols, we think of wild horsemen with bows. When we picture China, we think of elegant scholars and ancient dynasties. So how did those two worlds collide? And more importantly, why would the Mongols, who were all about speed, destruction, and control, adopt the systems, beliefs, and even bureaucracy of the very people they once burned down? Why would Genghis Khan, who crushed cities with fire, later send his sons to learn Chinese administration, Confucian law, and Song dynasty tech? What made China so powerful that even the most brutal warriors on earth had to learn from it? That's what we're about to uncover. Part 1. Before the Mongol storm, ancient China's hidden strength. Long before the Mongols were even a threat, China had already survived thousands of years of internal chaos, wars, and dynastic collapses. But it wasn't brute force that made China strong. It was systems, knowledge, strategy. Here's what that looked like. Civil service exams. China wasn't just ruled by warriors, it was ruled by the smartest minds who passed brutally hard exams on Confucian texts. It was like the world's first meritocracy, paper money. While Europeans were still hauling silver, China was printing cash. That gave them insane economic flexibility. Gunpowder, not for warfare at first. It began as a Taoist alchemy experiment, and later became a game-changer in battle. Road networks and postal routes, efficient, organized, and fast, just like the Mongol relay system after they copied it. Now imagine this massive machine of knowledge sitting next to a bunch of nomads. At first the Mongols just wanted to plunder it, but soon, they realized they could learn from it. Let's talk about Genghis. He didn't just destroy empires, he studied them. He noticed something strange during his conquests. The people with the best knowledge didn't always fight. They managed, organized, invented, and that made them powerful in a different way. So instead of killing Chinese scholars and engineers, Genghis spared them. He recruited Chinese advisors. He learned how Chinese dynasties taxed their people, governed provinces, handled revolts. He took their systems and rebuilt them on Mongol terms. That's how you go from raiding villages to running an empire that stretched from Korea to Hungary. Super Part 3, the Yuan Dynasty Mongols become emperors on screen text. Title card introducing the third part of the video. Now here's where things get wild. After Genghis Khan died, his grandson Kublai Khan took over, and Kublai wasn't just a warlord, he became emperor of China. That's right, a nomad ruled the most ancient, sophisticated civilization on earth. And to do that, he needed China's secrets. Kublai adopted the mandate of heaven, the idea that rulers were chosen by divine right. Total Chinese philosophy, Confucian advisors, who helped him keep the peace among a diverse empire. Chinese-style court rituals, architecture, and law to legitimize his rule. Kublai didn't just steal Chinese ideas, he respected them. He needed them to keep his massive empire from falling apart. Part 4, Secret Knowledge, What China Really Shared. Title card introducing the fourth part of the video. Here's the juicy part. It wasn't just science or government the Mongols took. They got access to Chinese astronomy. They used Chinese star charts for navigation and farming. Alchemy and medicine. Mongols spread Chinese herbal knowledge all across Asia and into the Middle East. Military strategy. The Chinese had treatises on warfare that predated Sun Tzu. Mongols absorbed these tactics and refined them. Even siege technology. The Mongols weren't experts in it at first, but after learning from Chinese engineers, they became masters. They copied Chinese catapults, rockets, and even early flamethrowers. This knowledge gave Mongol armies the edge they needed to take fortified cities like Baghdad. Without Chinese tech, there is no Mongol Empire. Super Part 5, a two-way exchange, what the Mongols gave back. Now you might be thinking, did the Chinese get anything in return? Oh yeah, even though the Mongols ruled with an iron fist, they also opened China up to global trade on a level it had never seen, Islamic science and math through Persian scholars, and Western goods and ideas via the Silk Road. Even Marco Polo, who arrived during Kublai Khan's reign, described cities that were more advanced than Europe. The Mongols turned China into the center of a global network. Here's the craziest part. That sharing of Chinese knowledge didn't just stay in Asia, it flowed west. Through Mongol routes into the Middle East, into Europe. Gunpowder weapons hit Europe a century later. Printing technology eventually spread westward. Administrative systems and even ideas about law and taxation trickled through the Mongol Empire into lands that had no idea where they came from. So when we talk about the Renaissance in Europe, some of that light came from ancient Chinese ideas delivered by Mongol hands. It all comes down to this: the Mongols weren't just conquerors, they were connectors. And ancient China? It was the engine room behind it all. From bureaucracies to bombs, calendars to catapults, the empire that once saw the Mongols as barbarians ended up teaching them how to build something bigger than either of them could have imagined. The biggest secret, sometimes the most powerful weapon, isn't the sword, it's knowledge. And, China had that weapon long before anyone else. So the next time someone tells you the Mongols built their empire through brute force alone, remember this. They learned how to run that empire from the civilization they were supposed to destroy. Ancient China didn't just survive the Mongols, it quietly shaped them. If you enjoy our journey, please like and subscribe to our channel, and if you like our content and want to support me, you are welcome to buy me a coffee. The link is in the description box.